Okay. Okay, we're back.
Another
We're
week.
back
Yeah.
after Miami, the hometown.
Yeah. Oh, actually, hold on. My eyes are very dark. Let me see. Can I do this one? My eyes look like the devil. Hmm. I don't know. Anyways, that will do. That's fine. So
Okay. Formula One.
Formula One. Another few weeks passed by. The Miami Grand Prix. Good stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the expectation was for the weekend, but it was our hometown. It's Miami, so I was excited to see Miami for that reason. Uh, and then as it was getting closer and closer, it seemed like the energy of the place was really good. I think that was the motto for the weekend. It's just fun before the race. like
Yeah.
it
I
was all
mean,
just about like the fun. Mhm.
there was so much hype. I think also it's a new track in like a new location. The location is a pretty big one, like Miami is pretty world known. Um,
Yeah,
so I mean, you have all the celebrities, and it's not just like American celebrities. You have also Hispanic celebrities
yeah.
because it's Miami. It's
It's
like
Miami. Yeah.
so so. I mean, I thought it was like I was really hyped up all the way through, like very excited to see. Oh, what's gonna happen? I hope that it's a good race.
Yeah.
I hope that it's not just like hype.
hmm
But yeah.
No, I think I think as a whole, I will give the entire weekend probably, I don't know, somewhere between a 6 and a 5.5 out of 10. Because at the end of the day, it was a little underwhelming, the race itself. For us.
Yeah.
For us. But what I would say is that if I was an American watching like the Miami Grand Prix and it was like my first time there, I'd be like, wow, it was pretty exciting. Like, yeah, sure, it was Verstappen versus Leclerc, but there was a lot of drama in between. So for new people, I think it was a good race. For us, the casual or the ordinary viewers, I think it might have been a little bit a little bit more like your average race, and not a lot of passing, not a lot of things. But I think it was a
I,
good intro.
Actually, I think it was a really good race, but and the reason that it wasn't, it's like one of the complaints that I have about the weekend that we can get into a little bit later.
All right.
Because
Okay.
I think actually the race was really exciting,
Hmm.
but and my complaint will go there at some point. Just some juiciness sparking
Mhm.
up.
Yes. Okay. I'm excited. I want to hear.
Okay, we'll stay for that for the complaints. But in the meantime, I have a list of topics that I wanted to talk about the race.
Sure.
Maybe if you have some, we can also talk about some of those.
Yeah. I have a few that you may not cover. Otherwise, I think you probably cover everything. So we'll see.
Okay, so we can talk about one. I mean, we already talked about the recap. Maybe we can. We always start usually talking about like qualifying. Um, what do you think in that? Like, do you have any thoughts about quali or pretty
Um.
standard, right?
Yeah. No real thoughts. I guess the one item before qualifying was the whole Ocon crash, which was sort of the
Oh, the
beginning.
Carlos Sainz and Ocon.
An Ocon crash, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was gonna be a little bit more. I thought it looked actually kind of dangerous. The fact that like there was no protection on the wall, and that like two cars like crashed through it, like in the same spot. But it didn't seem like it really happened again on the weekend. So I guess at the end of the day it was fine. But I think a little bit more. I don't know why they didn't put a little bit more protection there. It just seemed like. I don't know, like there was plenty of space in between, the track and the barriers. So I thought it was a little dangerous. I mean, the Ocon crash was pretty harsh. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about it. It was just as hard as the Max Verstappen crashed last year in
yeah,
Silverstone.
yeah, which is
Uh,
it's really strong.
yeah. Obviously, when you see it, like it's strong when you see it,
hmm
but the Max Verstappen one looks more spectacular per
Yeah,
se. So it
more
looks
brutal. Yeah,
stronger, but like if you compare, it's like it was the same, pretty much the same amount of forces that were
yeah. It,
applied there.
it
So
it's the Well, for one, in the Verstappen, he slowed down because he bounced a lot off the ground while he was like slowing down, and then he crashed into like a safety barrier. So even though he came fast and stopped quickly, when you crash into the asphalt or into like a concrete barrier, um, it's too strong. Like it's too much of a sudden hit for the human body. So I don't know. I think that's what made it dangerous. So I think there should have been maybe some sort of like safety barrier, something to at least put some protection there, something soft. But I don't know. I guess they kept it, and it ended up being fine until the end of the race. So
Yeah, I mean that's a small complaint. I feel like, yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. They should have done something about it. I do agree with that. Sainz also crashed there.
Mhm.
I don't know, and it's just kind of strange that, like, I know that it's like a circuit that is just built up, like from the
Yeah.
ground up,
Mhm.
so maybe it's a little bit more difficult. But I don't know, just put some
Yeah, I mean,
technical
I don't know.
barriers.
It wouldn't have costed much. But yeah, anyway, sorry. So that was before qualifying. That was practice.
Yeah,
Qualifying wasn't that incredible. I guess the only noteworthy thing, well, there were like two minor ones. Like George Russell got out on Q2, which
hmm,
is surprising because it's kind of rare to see him not outperform his teammate. But even though
yep,
it's Hamilton, I mean, you don't expect him to be that far back. And then the other one was that Verstappen made a mistake, a rare Verstappen mistake in qualifying, and he
yeah.
didn't he didn't put the fastest lap at the end, but he still got on he still got third, so it's still like the second line, not bad.
Okay, all right. So with that, a small introduction, I have some topics of conversation here, not in any particular order. I think just stuff that I think could be nice to talk about. The first one that I want to discuss with you is, what do you think of the Ferrari strategy staying out during the safety car?
Yeah, I think that was I don't know. Checo pitted first, and that's the thing. He pitted first, and then there was a whole other lap of at least virtual safety car, but then it transitioned into a full-on safety car. And I don't know if the Ferraris got there on time or not, but I'm just like, listen, you Checo pitted. Why not pit Sainz, right? And then pit Leclerc. I mean, like you lose nothing, and like it's not like Leclerc was about to catch up to fucking Verstappen, right? So you pit them both because they're all gonna come out ahead of Checo, and then if there's a safety car, then you have the chance to like overtake Verstappen. But they decided for
Yeah.
some reason not to do that.
So I watched it, and because I have the Formula One TV app,
Mhm.
I rewatched the thing to see, like, did they have a chance to actually do it?
Nice. Yeah,
So because you also have like the track where you can see the location of all the cars at all
yeah,
times.
yeah.
Uh,
And you can see where they are, or if
yeah,
they're
so
behind the pits and stuff. But yeah.
yeah, so the virtual safety car came out, and then Verstappen at that point had already crossed the pit lane,
Mhm.
and now it was Leclerc's turn. It's like, do I at that point come into the pits or not?
Yeah.
Uh, and then a little bit like before the hairpin at the end, it turned out from a virtual safety car to a full-on deployed safety car. And they had probably like maybe less than 5 seconds to
Mm.
decide to bring in Leclerc from the virtual safety car to the safety car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can see that maybe it was too fast and they missed Leclerc's window. But Sainz could have totally came in.
Yeah.
For sure, there was more than enough time, like 15 seconds at least, where they could have brought in Sainz,
Yeah.
and they didn't bring him. So the reasoning, according to Mattia Binotto,
Binotto. Yeah.
is that um, Ferrari didn't have a new set of nor the mediums nor the softs for any of the two drivers. And then they only had a new set of hard tires for them. So it's like, at that point, do we want to pit them, put in brand new hard tires, which are hard to warm up already and to get working, and then risk like the second and third place that we have? Or do we just keep them as they are? We're already getting second and third. We don't need to risk anything and maybe lose positions to Red Bull.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it second and third and see if Red Bull beat us or if they do anything about it. So if I look at it that way, and I'm like, well, you have to go for the win, and I'm like, but do you really? Because when you try to go for the win in Imola last weekend, Leclerc fucked it up. So I can see like Ferrari actually. I do agree that like I think that was the right call, even though I would have wanted to see the drivers pit and fight for a position, you know.
Mhm.
But I think they actually made the right call there. If everything checks out.
I see. I don't know. I don't think so. I think if it was Mercedes, they would have tried. I think Mercedes would have been like, fuck it, you know, we're gonna give it a shot, because they always try something. And
No,
I think that's
I think actually is, if it would have been in previous years, Mercedes dominating and then Red Bull being second, I think Red Bull would have tried. It's like, fuck it, let's go into
Yeah,
the pits.
exactly.
We have nothing to lose. Because
Exactly.
we know that Mercedes are always going to win. But in this case, Ferrari does have something to lose, which is like they're currently winning on the constructors and their driver is also first. So if they risk it and then it doesn't pay off, they can lose more points than they're actually going to win.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like sometimes teams tend to be more cautious about going to the pits than they should be. They should see it as a strategy that rarely fails, as opposed to something that can constantly go wrong, you know. And like if you teach your pits to think that way, you know, when these things happen, you put them in the pits, and like, yeah, they have hard tires, but they're still gonna need to warm up the tires. And I think that's also what you need, a decision making team that like can do it on the fly. That, I mean, I could see the crash from Norris and be like, that's gonna take a safety car. Like, there's no way that they can drag it in. Obviously, the thing lost a wheel. They can't drag that in because it's gonna destroy the tire or the bottom of the car. So so you as an engineer should see that, and you should be like, it's gonna be a safety car. Let's put him in before that happens. Like, let's just plan to do it. So I don't know. I feel like that's just that's the kind of reflexes that I want from like the winning team, and that's Ferrari always lacks on this. We always said back in, what is it? What was it, like 2018 or 2019 when they were going against Vettel? I mean, against Hamilton versus Vettel. I think it was 18. 18 was the last.
18 was Hamilton versus Vettel. Yeah.
Yeah, where like every race he was just like Ferrari versus Ferrari, essentially. Just like Ferrari was the worst enemy on every race. Reliably, you could say like they're gonna, if there's a decision to be made, they're gonna fuck it up, and they kept doing it on that season. So I don't know. They have a history of doing this, but that was when they had the other guy. I forget his name. Yeah, yeah, that guy, who looked pretty tough. But in any case, yeah, I feel like I just, I don't know. I thought that the right call was kind of obvious to me. If they put him in soft or like in cold hards, I think they can still race with that and race better than the tire that they have. They always feel better if they're fresher. So
yeah, like I said, I think I could give him a pass for Leclerc not pitting. But then if they really wanted to pit somebody, it was Sainz for sure. Maybe the other thing that they thought is like, if we pit Sainz, Perez is not going to pit. And we're going to lose position to...
No, but Perez pit
Yes.
first.
No, Perez pitted after they didn't pit. Like, Verstappen passed, then Leclerc passed the thing, then Sainz passed the thing, then Perez pitted. And then they had like another lap.
Yeah, and that second lap is when I think that they should have pitted.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, I don't know at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like at that point, probably the cars are bunching up already. Like,
yeah, I think
it's much.
I don't know. I think that's what they were afraid of.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you missed your shot. Like, it's either right there before Perez pits and you have to make a decision, and then it's either you lose the position to Perez.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I think no, because I was talking about the next lap. So I mean, I think you're right. If it would have been just the first lap I think so, but I thought there was an opportunity in the second one, on the second lap around, where I feel like maybe they could have put it there, even if we were catching up, because I think that the distance between the two, the Ferrari and the Red Bulls were still like 26 seconds. So I was like, you have a chance, but I don't know. I know. Well, in any case,
In any case, my opinion is that if everything that I said is true, that Ferrari is like, might as well just keep him out there on the all hard tires because the new ones are just hard to warm up. It's like, just leave him there. We're still gonna finish second and third.
yeah.
So I'm like, I don't think that's a bad strategy. And I'm like, yeah, just try to get as many points as you want, as you can. It's like in previous years, you had, I think Ferrari, I think it was in China in 2019 when Vettel was like, I think second or he was third. And then like Ferrari kept trying to pit Vettel or Leclerc to try to win the race. It's like, hey, we have to win the race. And then like, little do they know that now they're no longer trying to fight for the win of the race, but now they're losing the position to Verstappen, who's coming behind them. And it's like, you forget, like, it's like you could have gotten an easy second place and third place, and now you get like a second and fourth because you lose the position to Verstappen.
Yeah, I don't remember that a little bit. I think I do remember that. Yeah.
And then it's like
But I feel like that
you lost track of what you were getting, and
yeah.
then you thought like, oh, now we can win, and it's like you were never fighting for the win.
Again, but that's just that's her Ferrari doing Ferrari, you know. That's it's just a bad decision pretty much. When there's anytime there's some there to make a decision, like they tend to make it wrong. So but yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right, we can move topics if you want. Okay. So with that in mind, the next topic of conversation that I wanted to bring about is the Red Bull car versus the Ferrari car. Who do you think has the best car?
Well, I feel like they're very evenly matched. But I think that when that happens, the car that can go faster in the straight tends to have the advantage, and that's the case with the Red Bull. Because I think, if you look at throughout the entire lap and even during qualifying, they're faster. Each car is faster, just in like different parts of the track, and that's why I think you have an advantage because you can always pass, but it's always difficult to get to pass back. Yeah, so I don't know what the Ferraris needed to do was, from the beginning of the race, find a way for Sainz to be the Perez of the race and literally just sit in front of Verstappen for like a few seconds, like just holding back like 3 or 4 seconds away from Leclerc. And then once Verstappen passes you, they're evenly matched. It's not gonna get worse than that. So Leclerc can hold that same time. That at least that would be the strategy. But what happened was that Sainz got passed on the first lap, and it's like okay, well now Leclerc doesn't have the opportunity to get away. That would have been the smart. I don't know, the smart sort of strategy if they could have pulled it off. It's not like they didn't try. I mean, I think Sainz lost that position. It was kind of hard to keep it from what Verstappen doing, but he really just needed to know to stand in front of Verstappen wherever he was. That's all he needed to do.
Actually, the Red Bull car and the Ferrari car remind me of, like, is it 2020 or 2019? I think 2020, where Mercedes had the best car, and like they were really good in like fast speed turns. Also on the straights, they were much faster. And then the Red Bull car used to be really good in all of those circuits that needed a lot of downforce. So Red Bull would always win, like in Monaco, or in Hungary, they would do pretty good, or in Mexico, they would do pretty good, in Brazil. And like you can see, like, oh, Red Bull can win in these races.
They had like the best chassis.
Yeah, because aerodynamically, the car just works. They're just lacking on a straight line speed. And I think that's kind of how I see it like right now. But Red Bull in this case is not the Red Bull from old, is the Mercedes.
Yeah.
The one that has like the faster car that is really good on high speed corners, and the
Yeah.
Ferrari is just really good on anything that requires a lot of downforce. So for example, I don't know if it's just me, but I think that Ferrari are going to have a really good chance, like let's say in Monaco this year.
Oh yeah, I'm expecting that. I'm expecting that. Yeah.
Yep. And like I think that it's kind of like that, like when Red Bull used to have like the best chassis, and then like now Ferrari has that. They're just lacking like top end speed.
Yeah.
So I think that the Red Bull car is better than the Ferrari, like
Yeah.
right now. And it seems like they solved the reliability issues in the past two races. Nothing has broken. Well, I actually Perez did have an issue on this case.
Yeah,
On this race, he lost some like about 20 horsepower or something like that.
Yeah, and I think Verstappen for I think practice too had to sit out like after a few laps because it overheated.
Yeah, so the Red Bull still has some reliability issues, but in this case for Verstappen, when it mattered, which was in the race, like it performed for him. So assuming that they iron out those kinks, I think the Red Bull has the championship winning car, and Ferrari are playing catch up. Or am I wrong there?
No. I think you're right. I feel like Ferrari need to focus on their engine power. If they can get the engine power going, like as fast as they were back in like 2018 when they were cheating. I think they will have a real chance. But as of the moment, because the thing is in Formula One, so the early part of the season tends to be like really those like heavy downforce circuits. There's like the Monaco. I think it's Spain a little bit even. Although Spain, I don't know. Spain tends to be also like a lot of engine. But yeah, there's a lot of those at the beginning. But there's the European season where like a lot of the tracks are just like straight line speed.
Like the power tracks, you get Spa, Monza. Those are some tracks that you need power for those tracks.
Yes, exactly. And just the car that goes faster will go faster. And I think at the end of the year, there's more of those tracks than there is of the short, high downforce. Like Austria. Sorry, Austria is one of like the biggest engines. Needing circuits, but so yeah. If Ferrari need to find a way to fix that in order if they want to be able to hang on at the end of the season, I think in Spain they're gonna have a shot at sort of like staying within the same. But I think I think they should have Monaco, and then after that it's like a free for all. I don't know. Azerbaijan tends to be also like a very balanced circuit. And so
Baku tends to be really balanced. It's like, do you want to make up a lot of the time on the straight, or do you want to make up a lot of the time during the
turns? But I think that favors the heavy engine. So even though like your setup needs to be very balanced, you do fall to reliability or like if you don't have an engine,
you can see it like a little bit like last year. Like Leclerc did get pole position last year.
Yeah.
But like once the race started, it's like, okay,
it's like
you're out.
you
don't have power.
you can't pass anybody. Yeah. So I think those three tracks are gonna be like that, and then after that, like if Ferrari don't step on it, it's gonna be Red Bull after Red Bull after Red Bull win for like the end of the season. So like they need to, for one, carry these points, cherish them, and then once that European season starts, just like brace to God that like, you're consistent enough to be there to hold on to those points that you're getting. So like actually like Sainz being out for like 2 or 3 races, I forget, I think 2 in a row was just like, it was just killer for him. Like that compromises his entire season this early on.
Yeah.
But in any case.
All right. So let's move on to the next topic that I wanted to talk about. That is the Gasly and Norris incident. What do you think of that? Do you think Gasly messed up? That it was Norris's fault? That it was it just a regular car accident?
I think if I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna give like at least 85% to Gasly. And not
Like it was his fault.
yes, like it was his fault because
Okay.
I think if you see the replays, and I was watching the replays, Norris really is he. If you ask me, you see a car slowing down on the track, he just tries to pass him normally, and like he gets hit. Like he left him enough space, but when you see Gasly's replay, you see it. He doesn't. He gets distracted for a second. He's switching something, and then he crashes. He's like, oh, like he didn't realize that like it was gonna happen. So yes, I think it was this time. It was just like a little Gasly mistake that like
Yeah.
he was just checking something when that
Yeah,
happened.
I think he broke the rear transmission, I think. Like
Yeah.
he crashed with Alonso and then like the car started like he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't able to turn the car anymore.
Yeah, he was having a
Uh
bad race.
yeah, and then well he couldn't turn anymore. I don't know if it's because the car was broken or legitimately like
Mm-hmm.
he just lost, like he's like, I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I lost concentration or something.
I think it was just a
No,
momentary lapse in judgment.
I think the car was broken, and that was the reason he couldn't turn. As far as I understand, like he crashed with Alonso.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying, and then that broke the car's like transmission, like the rear transmission.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I don't know. I think you can just turn with the right, but maybe I don't know.
I
Maybe
mean,
he's
he
just
did turn,
slow
and then
turner.
I think when the accident was like caused, I do think it
Yeah,
was his fault. He's just like in the middle of the track with like a slow car, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, move to
yeah.
the side. I don't know why you're there. Like,
He was on
pick
the
up,
driving
pick the
line too.
inside, pick like the other one. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like, there's cars also coming behind you. I don't know if it's 100% his fault, or obviously you get distracted because you have a car and you're trying to manage it.
yeah.
You're checking a lot of things. Your engineer should also be telling you, hey, you have cars behind you.
Hmm.
Like, I think I blame it on Gasly or AlphaTauri, whatever. They messed up. Like if the
Hmm.
car just doesn't work, just don't park it in the middle of the track.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. Because I mean, Norris did came a little too close to him, but Norris was in a race, right? He's not like on practice where he can just like give him space, right? Norris was
Mhm.
trying to catch the guy in front, like
Yeah.
he was chasing, so it's not like he can like steered away from the driving line, you know. So yeah, unfortunate, but I think Norris managed to salvage the car really well. Like it looked like he was like that, like he could have just crashed into the wall and destroyed that car, but like he
Yeah.
somehow
I mean, the
managed
car
to.
was still destroyed, but not as much as I think it could
Yeah,
have
not
been.
as I mean, yeah, no, like I mean, like the chassis was saved. I think the wing might have even been saved. So yeah, no, I mean, and also, well, he just didn't crash hard into anything, which is also good. So yeah, no, unfortunate, but I mean, I don't know. People were saying, or Norris was saying that he was like fighting, like about to fight for points, maybe like ninth or eighth. But I like it's like, well, I mean,
Really?
yeah. I like he said
uh,
like we lost, but it's not that bad. It's not as bad as it's. So I mean I don't know.
yeah, I don't think McLaren were. I don't think Norris was fighting for any points.
No, yeah.
So anyway, that's a short one there that I wanted to get your take on. So
Hmm.
hold
Sure.
on here. The next topic that I want to talk about, speaking of incidents, is the Vettel and Schumacher incident. I want to get your opinion on that because I watched the replay and I wanted to see what you think.
Um, I have a feeling that we're gonna agree on this one, but I I I I don't think it was Mick Schumacher's turn. Like I think it was fully his mistake. Like I don't know what he was doing. He like didn't brake correctly and then like tapped Vettel when Vettel had already turned.
Yep.
Uh,
I don't know
yep.
what Mick is doing. He
I,
got like a little over eager. I think he was going for points. He was like driving really well.
he actually had a really good pass on somebody else right before that. I think it was Stroll, that like he actually like passed him and he was really clean. It was a really
Mhm.
clean pass. So when he came to Vettel, I think he was just like over enthusiastic or something. He was on top of the world and like he thought like he could really make that happen like that. But
Yep.
it was way too optimistic, like way too optimistic. Vettel like at no point saw him. There's no way you can like see
Yeah.
him and like do anything.
Yeah. And then like, I mean, when I first saw it, because Mick was having such a good race,
Mhm.
um, and like the incident happened, and like we kind of got caught into it, like, oh, there was an incident. Um, I thought it was Vettel's fault. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
Vettel just turned into Schumacher.
because Vettel is always doing some shenanigans. He's always doing
Like
his own shenanigans.
Vettel hasn't been doing the
Yeah,
greatest the past few races. Well, I think last race it was fine, but
yeah,
before that, I'm like, oh, Vettel, what did you do? It was Mix. Like Mix is gonna be a hero here.
yeah,
And then I watched the replay, and I'm like, oh, I don't think it was Vettel's fault.
yeah. I don't think you can blame me for that one. And then I think the funniest part is the fact that like then you hear making the radio, and he's like, I thought I had the corner. Like he was like almost crying. I feel bad for him. Like it was pretty sad, but at the same time, it's just like no, it really wasn't his corner. He was not. He might have just been saying that because he was like disappointed or whatever. And you know what? It kind of sucks because obviously Vettel feels like somewhat of a parental figure in
Yep.
Mick's career. So he was really. I feel like you could tell that Vettel was like pretty sad that it was Mick that he crashed into. Like I honestly I think if he had seen him, because you see the radio and he says like I didn't see him until I turned. If Vettel had seen it, I think he would have let him go. I think honestly, or would have fought with him at least,
Yeah,
side to side.
like go wheel to wheel,
Yes.
like really nice. But no, I don't think Vettel saw him at all. It
No.
was like because they're almost turning, and then all of a sudden you see Mick going on the inside, and I'm like, oh, what is he doing? Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. And then he
they
fucked up
crashed.
Vettel
Yeah,
race too. Yeah.
yeah,
Unfortunate for the German comrades.
yeah. Germany
Yeah.
hasn't. They haven't had a good driver since not even Nico Rosberg, but
since the great battle from 2000, what was it, like
13.
12, 13? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. uh,
So yeah, just a shame for Mick. He's just speaking of like Mick, how good is Mick Schumacher? Not saying like, oh, he's a good, like, I'm just asking you objectively, how good is he?
honestly, well, I think he's as good, maybe as a Stroll. Like, I think that's where Mick is at. Like, that's probably like his peak. Well, I don't know if he's his peak. The current level, I think he could maybe even drive better. But I think he's fast enough to be in Formula One, in my opinion. He can make the moves, he can drive the car well, and he's a good racer. But he's missing a little bit of that raw pace that like some of the like other younger guys have.
Yep.
Leclerc, Norris, Russell, and Verstappen.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, unfortunately, maybe an Ocon, you could compare him to like an Ocon or a Stroll. Is what I'd say. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, he can pull out some like really nice performances, but I don't know if he's like, I don't know if he can really dazzle like every time, like
Yes.
perform like every time, just get the most out of the car. Um, doesn't feel like it, and like, I think he's still quite young. He hasn't had the same Formula One career that many of the other drivers have had, which like he came into a team where the team was definitely the worst team in the
Yeah.
grid.
Yeah.
Then there were 2 years there. Well, 2 years, 1 year. Last
What?
year was his first year,
I
right?
think so. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
last
he
year it
was
was
alongside Mazepin.
yeah, and he was with Mazepin, and then it's not like he can learn from Mazepin a whole lot,
Yeah.
like you don't really know what the potential of the Haas car is. Like maybe it wasn't as bad as we thought it was, but because it's driven by two rookies, like is the car really all that bad? Or
Right.
is it like the talent just doesn't know how to get the most out of it?
Right. I felt very skeptical last year when Haas decided to go with two rookie drivers for their car. Like, I mean, I understand you need the sponsor money, but what you probably need the most was to better the car. And you need like an experienced driver to be able to do that. Unfortunately, I mean, Mazepin was just a liability, but Mick also was just young, and like it's kind of hard to know how much he even knows.
Yeah.
Whereas with Kevin, now that Kevin's back, K-Mag, I think now he's actually like he has a challenge and he's really trying. He's really trying to do his best, and you can see that he is quick, he's fast,
Yeah,
or that he's got potential.
I think this is what we can consider like, oh, this is Mick Schumacher's like first, like this is his rookie year.
Yeah,
Like last year is like, okay, you get some mileage and it was fun. You get to drive a Formula One car.
yeah,
But this year, this is like your rookie year. So I'll
yeah.
forgive some mistakes. I know that it's really his second year, and I think people tend to be a little bit rougher on him, but he's just such a nice guy too that I'll give him any passes for now.
Yeah.
I think it was his mistake with Vettel, but I'll give him a pass because it's his rookie year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's trying to to drive the car and trying to like see the potential that they probably have. And actually, it was pretty fun to. I don't know if you went back and watched the onboards, but I think they didn't show it in the race. But if you go back and see, like the base fights was between the Aston Martins and the Hasses. They were they were neck to neck, and it was really fun to see them like out driving or trying to outdrive each other. It was actually like really cool. It feels like this year there's like tiers of like instead of like a middle solid middle field, solid top, solid bottom. It's like there's like all like kind of tiers and like depending on the race. Where
Yeah.
like you see like the Ferraris and the Red Bulls, then
No,
the McLarens
it's
and
almost like
Mercedes.
you have Verstappen and Leclerc.
Yeah, yeah.
Then the next tier is Perez, maybe.
Sainz.
No, not even Sainz. Sainz is not even there yet.
I think Sainz is kind of there.
No. That's another topic we can discuss in a little bit, but I don't think Sainz is there at all.
Really? I feel like he's
there,
warming up.
There has not been a single weekend where Sainz has been there, like on toe or on par with Leclerc. He's always behind.
Yes, but at the same time, I mean, you compare Sainz to Leclerc, and yes, Sainz is behind. But now you compare Perez to Verstappen. I mean, and the guy is like way behind. So I feel like
yeah, but like if I
if
compare Perez to Sainz, Perez is better.
But see why then why didn't Perez win or beat Sainz this time around? I don't think it was over reliability issues. I don't think. I would disagree with that. I don't think it was
actually no. I can actually see what you're saying. I think Perez and Sainz are both kind of there in the same level. Yeah, just them two, not the same level as Leclerc and Verstappen. Because we also had the issue with was it in where was Saudi Arabia that I think Perez was gonna win, and then there was a safety car. Or Perez was leading the race, and there was a safety car, and then Perez had to give up the position to Sainz, and then he could never pass Sainz,
he could never
even though Verstappen did pass Leclerc.
Yes.
So I'm like, you should have like, we can see the other Red Bull is able to pass the faster Ferrari.
Yep.
So you
should be able to pass.
You should be able to pass the slowest Ferrari,
right?
But you're not able to do that. So yeah, I can see that how. It's Leclerc and Verstappen, Perez and Sainz, and then depending on the race, it could be like a couple of cars just for the next year, and then then another couple of cars for next year, and then at the very bottom you have Williams.
No, actually, you have Latifi at the bottom.
Oh, you have Latifi, yeah.
But I think Albon, Albon has been trying, and well, I guess we can talk about Albon like later, but but yeah, no. So yeah, that's just what I perceive. And yeah, I don't know. It was that fun duel between the Aston Martins and the Hasses. Pretty good to see that the Hasses actually are a little bit more competitive, and that there's gonna be some races in which they're gonna be good. Kind of like back in the day when I started watching in 2017 or 18 when I
Yeah.
started rewatching Formula One actively. So yeah, no, I fun little stuff.
Okay. The next topic is one that um, I want to talk about a couple of drivers here.
Right.
And we kind of just talked about it now. And those drivers are Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly, and Alex Albon. And there's something that all of these drivers have in common. Do you know what it is?
You said Pierre. Oh, okay. Red Bull drivers.
Yeah,
Second drivers.
yes, these are all drivers that have had Max Verstappen as a teammate. I don't know if is there any other there. I don't know if I missed any.
Probably somebody from the Toro Rosso days, maybe Sainz, if you want to count
No,
it.
no, I said Science. I said Science.
Oh, you did say
Perez.
Sainz?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. All right, then yes, then you're good.
yeah.
Okay, go on.
So I wanted to talk about a little bit about all of these drivers and the Red Bull Driver Academy. Uh, I don't know. I think, for example, Alex Albon is a great driver. I think he's shown, and I think he did great this weekend.
Yeah.
Pierre Gasly is also really good. Um, although this year he's been kind of like good a little bit, but then not all that good. I think also the car has had some reliability issues.
Yeah.
Sainz, he's also been solid, and Perez has also been solid. But at some point, for all of these guys, like Verstappen just ruined their career, well, except for Perez.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on like the Red Bull Driver Academy.
Well, what's there to say? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's the academy itself. I think it's just the team revolves around Verstappen, and probably with a good reason. Is the fact that I mean Verstappen is the fucking fastest guy in the world. Like the guy is a really an amazing driver, and he's very reliable too. So they're building the car around him for like all of these years. It's ever since he started that they're like Verstappen is our driver number one, number two. Is why Ricciardo left the team because he was like the Verstappen team.
I missed Ricardo. That's what I missed.
I thought you missed. I thought you said Ricardo.
No, I didn't say Ricardo. Ricardo and Ricardo.
I thought I heard Ricardo. And I think that's what tipped me off. I was like, Red Bull. But in any case, yeah, so I think that he left because he wasn't really excited to be number two to Verstappen. And then everybody else just they come in and like that car only drives for the way that Verstappen drives. Like that car is made for Verstappen, so nobody can achieve that. And then so all these other drivers go to other places. I don't know. I think I disagree with the notion that like he's ruined their careers. I think Albon, for example, I think he's showing that like he's still a very good driver.
So let's talk about like all of the drivers if you want. So Alex Albon.
Yeah. Albon still, I mean, like yes, he left for a year, which was unfortunate. Like I wish he hadn't, because I mean, but at the same time maybe he needed it. And then he comes back to Williams. He's obviously shown that he's got speed, that he knows how to drive the car, that he can drive it faster. I mean, he's doing good things with that car. Then you have Ricciardo, who went around, went to.
But okay, so between Verstappen and Albon, or between Verstappen and all of these drivers, Verstappen is clearly better than all of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. Verstappen is probably the best driver, at the moment.
In Formula One, Max Verstappen is just the best driver, right?
Yes, he's just the fastest. I mean, I hate to say it, I love Leclerc, but
Leclerc, he's not Verstappen.
no, I think sometimes he has scrappy lanes or scrappy laps. There's a lot of he is kind of
Even in the Miami Grand Prix, like
Yeah.
he was really close to Verstappen a couple of times, and then he just takes the curb so aggressively, and the car like he gets like over eager trying to like make up
Yes.
time, and I'm like, you don't have to do that, you.
Correct. You can be patient, but also like in qualifying, like when he started his lap, it was very scrappy lap, and he does this often. That like he does like a really fast lap, but by like doing like really scrappy, like sliding all over the place and stuff, which is good if you get the pole. But I mean, does it is the type of thing? It's not like the cleanest, like squeaky clean driving. Whereas
Mhm.
Verstappen, just every weekend, he's just like fast,
Yeah,
like
and
just
yeah,
fast. He
and
he
even
arrives
when
and like
like
incredible.
even when you think like, oh, Verstappen is like the car is like all over the place or sliding, it's like, but it doesn't feel out of control, like when
Like
I
the Leclerc, yeah.
yeah, when I watched, for example, Verstappen doing Saudi Arabia last year, he was the only one that I think was driving that sector one in that track. Like, oh my god, like this guy can crash at any point and like
And he
completely
doesn't.
wreck himself. But he just wouldn't. He just had control of that car, and it was just like, I don't know. It was just beautiful to watch Max Verstappen do
That
that.
that
Except
lap
for
that
like
he
when he crashed, but yeah.
that lap that he was pulling was an incredible lap. I think we were all watching, and like you by seeing him driving, you could just be like, that's incredible. Like I don't know what it is about it, but it just doesn't seem like the car is slowing down. It was purple, purple, and then like it was about to be like the last purple, and then like he tapped the wall. And I think that was like a huge blow to his psyche at that point, to his mental, because I think at that point, had he completed that lap, in my opinion, easily he wins the championship. Like
Yeah.
he's in top form, he feels like a god after that lap. But since he missed it like that, I think he was prepared to call in the season, and he should have lost that season. But we don't have to get into it.
But yeah, I think like, so Verstappen clearly better than all of these other guys, but the other guys are not bad in the Red Bull Driver Academy.
Mhm.
I think like if I have to rank, like the thing that I see is that Verstappen kind of, or I think is Red Bull's fault.
Mhm.
Red Bull, since they come into the sport, they just want to have like, and they had success with Sebastian Vettel. They just want to keep doing that. Like they feel like
Mhm.
that's a reliable method of getting really good drivers.
Mhm.
And like, I mean, it's kind of worked for them, but I also feel like it cannot, that cannot be a recurring model for your team. Like you, I think they had David Coulthard and Mark Webber on the first year around,
Mhm.
and then they promoted Sebastian Vettel, and then Vettel came and owned.
Yeah.
Uh, and then when Vettel was kind of, or when we had this switch between the regulations between 2013 and 2014, that the Mercedes became better, they just promoted Ricciardo because like he was like, oh, you're the next one, and then Ricciardo started beating Vettel, and then Ricciardo became kind of like, oh, he's good, and then like they also brought Danny Kvyat, like the torpedo.
Yeah.
And then when he didn't perform, they had like Verstappen, who was looking really good. It's like, oh, Verstappen going there. And then Verstappen came and owned.
Yeah.
And then like after that, it seems like they just want to do that. It's like, oh, Ricardo left. It's like, Gasly, go. And I'm like, but Gasly wasn't there yet. Oh, Gasly didn't perform. Albon, go. And
Yeah.
Albon had only had like 2 or 3 good races, and they're like, Albon, now you're the next like Max Verstappen,
Verstappen, yeah,
like the
teammate.
next Vettel. It's like, bro, what are you? You're ruining these drivers' careers in Formula One.
Yeah.
They're not ready. You have to let them develop.
Yeah.
Like so, I
Like
don't know what
there's
they're
only
expecting.
one Verstappen that like could do or perform the way that Verstappen performed when he came into the sport. And I think he also got kind of lucky. I mean, I don't know. He jumped in a really fast car and like got pretty lucky in his first race. He won that race.
Yeah, that's when
Uh,
the Mercedes took each other out.
yeah, yes. So I think I mean that's a good step to begin with, but yeah, I do kind of agree that like they do take all these premature drivers and like put them in a pretty harsh condition, and then like they don't
And then when
they don't
the way
support them
they don't
really.
perform, it's like, okay, you're out.
Yeah,
It feels like it feels, I don't know, so shitty for Red Bull to do this shit, you know?
yeah,
It's like,
very
come on,
very.
you were going to be our next driver. We brought you and like we took care of you and we brought you into Formula One. And look, now you're in Red Bull. And it's like, bro, but like I just got here.
Yeah,
It's like,
you
but
know,
go and win races and fight for podiums and do all that. Oh, you didn't do it, get out of the team and you're fired. And then like those drivers are like, where do I go? Nobody wants them because they are too young, too inexperienced, like they have nowhere to go. So Gasly has to fall back in Toro Rosso miraculously.
yeah,
Albon is out of Formula One completely for an entire year.
yeah,
So it is only the drivers that manage to like on their own. It's like, it's better if I go to another team and try to make my career there. And that's what happened to Carlos Sainz. That's kind of
yeah.
what happened to Ricardo. And well, for Ricardo, I think it's pretty much over.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I could talk about Ricardo for a little too, but no. So to finish on this, yeah, I kind of agree, and I think they should have done what they did with Perez long ago. I mean, they shouldn't have promoted like a young guy from within the academy. I mean, that is ideal for them. That's They all know that that is a chance. That, like they could just randomly be called to perform on Red Bull, right? But I think there's a point where you just need like you have Verstappen. Verstappen should be your main guy. You just need a fast guy on the second spot. A guy like Perez. Like actually, Perez was kind of like the perfect guy for them to get because he
Yeah.
was fast, but like not incredible fast, but consistent and like you know performs reliably every weekend. And he obviously is. He obviously was the best of the rest at that moment. So so yeah, I think I think that was the right call from the get go instead of putting like all these young drivers. Now I think they still have a career. They still managed to all of them to
Yeah, but
perform in
they've had
other
to
teams.
work for that all like from the beginning, all over again. Like
Yeah,
I thought for a second you think like Gasly's career is over.
a little bit. Yeah,
Like you're like, oh okay. And then like Albon is out of Formula One and I'm like, oh man, like you know how hard it is to get back into Formula One?
yeah. After you leave like that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
ask Mazepin.
yeah. That guy, I don't think that guy is coming back ever. Goodbye, goodbye for good. But yeah, actually, the thing that happened was that Ricardo was pretty sad though. I feel like he deserved like a Ferrari spot on like many of those years, uh, instead of Kimi, for example. But he never got the offer. He never got the call. Leclerc got it eventually.
I mean,
Uh,
there was the famous that Carlos Sainz to Ferrari and then Daniel Ricciardo to McLaren.
mhm.
But that was so I think Ricardo at the time was with Renault, and then he was looking to switch it to a whole new team.
Yeah,
And then he was like in talks with McLaren. He signed with McLaren, and like a day or 2 days later, Ferrari dropped Vettel. And then and I'm like, what the fuck? Ferrari drops Vettel. Are they gonna get Ricardo? And then Ricardo, like a day or two before, had just signed with McLaren. So they
but
went for Sainz.
I mean, but I
And
think
I don't know if Ferrari would have gone for Ricardo at that point in time,
yeah,
but
no.
that's what could have been.
I mean, I think I suspected that Ricardo had spoken with Ferrari, and like that, like because it was always between him and Sainz. It was between him and Sainz, and I think he must have spoken with them, and they probably told him no, they're gonna go with Sainz, and so he was like. He probably signed, and then they released this information. But he must have been in talks because yeah, he was too good of a driver. And it's unfortunate that he didn't get that opportunity. He is kind of a Montoya in a sense, an incredible driver that just never got the chance to drive for like a world championship. So, but now it looks like he's sliding down
Yeah,
into like
he's on his decline, and I don't know, like I don't think he's got it anymore. And to the point that like, what team is gonna want to sign him after he
Yeah.
leaves McLaren, like, you know,
Maybe like an Alpha
maybe Alpine if Alonso
or
retires.
an Alpine, yeah. Which
You
was
know,
Reynolds. Yeah.
which yeah, he has to go back there, and I'm like, and like, you know, I don't think he's gonna be driving for a top team anymore.
Yeah, no, he's not gonna have the chance for a world championship. It's just not gonna happen. Because if there were to ask somebody, like for example, if for whatever reason Hamilton retired or something, they wouldn't ask him. They probably would ask Norris. Or they probably will ask
Yeah, they're not gonna go to Ricardo, I don't think.
yeah, unfortunately he's just not the topic. So yeah, I think his career, it's up to him. I don't know if he's gonna retire. I've been thinking about this, like, will Ricardo retire? And I don't think so.
I don't think he's gonna retire, but I just don't think he's gonna be driving for a top
But
team.
yeah, it depends if he likes just the driving.
And even if he's driving for a top team, I don't think he'll be the number one driver.
The number one anymore, yeah. So yeah, I mean, it'll be it's all on him. If he wants to stay because he loves the sport and he just wants to keep driving cars because it's fun and like that's what he wants to do, I think he might stay. But if he doesn't want that and he's just like he doesn't feel like he's just fast anymore and doesn't want to deal with it, then he might retire. But I don't know. Actually, I feel like a lot of people might retire this year. This is a prediction time, I guess you could say. But I do feel like at the end of this year is gonna be a big exodus.
I think it's 2023. I think this year is gonna be fine, and then end of 2023 is when you can see Alonso, Hamilton, like pretty much our era of Formula One, of like when we
grew
first
up,
got into the sport,
yeah.
and then we saw these people just like going out. Vettel, Alonso, Hamilton.
Mhm.
You know, I think they're probably Ricardo, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was gonna be at the end of this year. Yeah, if he's not this year, it's certainly next year. But I did think that, like, it depends also what Vettel wants to do, what Hamilton wants to do, what Alonso wants to do, what Ricardo wants to do. Who know? I mean, no, Bottas is staying. Bottas is staying for sure. But there may be. I mean, I don't know. There may be a few other drivers that also just leave.
Bottas is living his best life right now.
Bottas is great. He's a clown in the Mercs, which is awesome to see. I was amused by that during qualifying. But anyways,
one last thing for this topic, which was the Red Bull Driver Academies. Where do you see Yuki Tsunoda?
Yuki, I don't know. I'm gonna put him also like at the Stroll level, maybe even a little bit below that. If you ask me, like the weakest 5 drivers, he's probably in there. Like, I'll give you that. Like, obviously Latifi is there.
Latifi is the worst.
yeah, and you can keep him there. And I don't know. I guess I will have to think like hard about the other ones, but I would say Yuki is probably in there too. If you were to make top rankings, he will be there too. He's just, I don't know, he's just not the fastest guy. He's not that reliable either. He has a really bad temper. I don't like his temper at all.
I think he's been getting better. I think the temper made him quite famous when he first came in, but he even addressed it himself. He's like, like, I apologize to the team. I shouldn't be treating them like this. I'm gonna try my best. It's like, I don't know. He was even saying like, I don't know why I got signed for a second year.
Yeah.
With AlphaTauri, like I don't deserve it. And I'm like, I kind of like and appreciate a guy that can own up.
I think, I mean, yes, but then again,
but he's still not as fast.
Well, yes, but in practice this weekend, he was getting like I don't know, a little feisty with the engineers again. Now I don't know if this is the start of the trend again, but it was happening. And I don't know. I did see the remarks that he made, but I don't know if I fully bought it. I mean, he should be thankful that he has another year. Yes, he was making a lot of mistakes that year. He was very self-critical. I don't know if he was like actually apologetic about like the way that he spoke to his team, but But yeah, in any case, I mean, I don't know. That's just my take on Yuki. I don't put a lot of thought in the guy. I don't think. I mean, he's gonna be there maybe this season, maybe next one. And then afterwards, I don't think he's. Maybe he can get signed into like an
If
Austin
he starts
Martin.
doing really well, but with the
Yeah,
performances he has, maybe not so much.
yeah. But maybe an
All right.
Aston Martin, something like that. Maybe he could get that.
Okay, so another topic that I wanted to talk about is Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Um, this is like the one thing that I think is Lewis's fault as a driver and as a person.
Hmm.
When he's not winning,
I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
he sounds so annoying.
It's a more than sounding annoying is that like he blames his team or the car or like he has
Yes.
a habit of like blaming anybody but himself.
Yes. Like
uh
he just starts like, come on, guys. It's like he has like this thing like, I don't know, that he's doing all he can, but like I'm not doing that well, so I'm gonna show that, I'm gonna tell my team that it's their fault.
yeah,
In a passive aggressive way.
yeah.
Uh,
Which I mean as far as faults go, yeah, it's kind of annoying. I don't know. I just feel like he's. I mean, we talked about this last week, or the week before, but like I don't know. I feel like he's in a very awkward state at the moment in a car that like is pretty hard to drive. Now this weekend it looked like he had some pace, and he tried to make it work, and like he was actually trying, and then like he got messed up. So it's kind of like another one of like that's like you roll your eyes and you're like, okay, if you're Hamilton, it's like there's nothing you can do right apparently, because like something's always gonna mess you up. So yeah, I don't know, it feels like unlucky, and I guess I understand his frustration. I also did think that he was driving better, he was driving better than Russell. uh that being said, I mean, he lost like the fifth spot, like he went down to sixth. Who cares? Yeah,
like, I understand, for example, that like, hey, it's been a couple of races where like the safety car has messed you up.
Yeah.
But those are things that are so outside of your control that I don't know why you're complaining about it.
Yeah.
Like other drivers is like, oh, like this happened to me, and they just stay quiet. It's like, that's just how Formula One is. But Hamilton, or it's my perception, maybe it could also be that, but no, I think this was always Hamilton. It could also be that the broadcasters know that whenever Lewis complains, if they put it on the air, it's just gonna get a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah.
And they don't put like other people complaining on the radio, because nobody cares about them whether they complain or not. But if Lewis says that his tires are messing up, they're gonna put it out there because people talk about that.
Yeah.
So I think that could be it as well, but like, assuming that that's not the case, he just always sounds like he's complaining. And this was even before he started winning with Mercedes. When he was in McLaren, it was the whole time that he's not winning, he's just so annoyingly complaining to his team.
Yeah.
He's like such a gracious, and like it's so nice to see him win, but then when he doesn't win, he's just turns like this.
Yeah, kind of annoying. Yeah,
and it's kind of
agree.
annoying. It's like the worst thing, because also like, it's not like, I know that the strategy wasn't kind to him, like what he said, but also like, but that was out of your control. Like what can you do? Like, that's Formula One. Just shut up. I don't know.
Well, like, see, I don't know, because I feel like on one hand, yeah, it is kind of annoying, but on another hand, or on the other hand, I feel like as a person that likes to complain a lot myself when something unfortunate happens to me, like for example, when I'm playing like like a card game, and I draw like a card, and I'm like, had I drawn the card that I wanted to draw, I would have won that game. Like I love complaining about like getting unlucky. That is just I love complaining about that. So I can't then blame Hamilton for wanting to complain. I mean, I don't know. To me, complaining feels great. like just saying like I had you motherfuckers, but like I drew badly. Like this weekend when we were playing
That's the whole
Dominion.
reason this podcast exists.
Yeah,
Just to complain.
exactly. We were playing Dominion, and I drew a province. And had I drawn anything else instead of province on my like 30 something card deck, I would have won that last game. But anyways, yes. So I understand. I understand the complaints from Hamilton. I think it's I think it's just the way he copes with it. I don't think it's never malicious. If anything, he probably talks to his team, and his team is understanding of it. It seems like Hamilton has always been in really good terms with his team, so they probably just understand that that's how he copes with it, and that like he has a very like interesting or like different personality. So like they just they let him do what he needs to do. The team is always improving, anyways, and the team has been great with him. So they respect his opinion, and I don't know, a little bit of complaining is good. I like to hear it.
I mean, that makes sense. What you
Yeah.
said makes me under a little bit more understanding of the guy.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
the whole
That
time I'm just like, just don't complain. I hate
yeah,
people that
no,
complain,
and he
even though
he,
that could be us.
it's like so evidently like that, right? Like he's winning and everything's golden thanks to the team, but he's losing. It's never his fault. He didn't do a mistake. It's the team's blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that, for example, in this particular race, when the safety car came out, and they're asking Lewis, do you think you should come in? And I'm like, why are you asking the fucking driver? So I do think on that aspect, Lewis
yeah,
was like, why are you asking me? You have all the data, you
yeah,
have all the time. It's like, if I come in, like, am I gonna lose position? What am I gonna look like? You guys understand, like, I don't know what's going on in here.
yeah.
So you should tell me. I know that, like, it may seem like, oh, but Russell did tell their team, and I'm like, well, yeah, but like, these are two different people. Like, Russell is more actively more engaged. He's in a brand new team. He's younger. He's hungry for wins.
Well,
Hamilton is in like, I'm not gonna win.
yeah,
Just take me home, and I'll try to do my best.
I feel like the other thing is that Russell probably. I mean, Russell needed to come in, right? Like, he
Yes.
started with the heart, so eventually he had to come in, and he got really lucky with that. I mean, they could have pitted Hamilton as well, but I think they got too timid with it, and then at the end, like, I believe they left him out. So no, I get that. I think that's a proper complaint from Hamilton. That like, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the team should know these things. Yeah, they cannot mess him up, and like. I would also be kind of annoyed after the race. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I do think that he has the right to complain to the team. It's like, don't ask me
Yeah.
if I should come in, and if there's a safety car. Do you know if I should come in? Like if you're asking me now, now I'm scared. It's like the whole time I've been driving, and my team doesn't even know if I should come in to the pit lane.
Yeah, but if anything, I don't know. I feel like
like-
this weekend supports kind of my theory, the one that I proposed last time. That like I feel like he's just holding back, and like this weekend he was trying, and he was actually out driving Russell, which I mean Russell's a young guy, got a really fast guy, and he was like out driving him, and then to get stuck behind and the results don't show it, it's just unfortunate. It's just
Okay, this is the last topic I have of conversation before I go into my complaints.
Oh boy. Okay, but it's like 10:45 on my side, so
Yes.
let's try to
So-
keep it short.
This one is, what do you think of Miami as a track?
Miami, great,
Uh,
great, fun. Very. Like I said, I think. Well, I think to me the entire weekend was all about fun and how much fun they were having, and the track really seemed to support that, or like it looked like the perfect setting for that. I think. I think it was. Well, it was nice and sunny. It didn't rain, and I think it looked really nice, really beautiful. And it looked like it was challenging enough to drive. That like that I was expecting incidents, which is good. It's like that's how a new track should be, a little bit challenging, a little bit fast, a little bit new, but like not like poorly constructed either. Like I don't know, like
Would
like
you
just
want to keep the track in the calendar?
probably.
Would you change anything?
I think there was one turn. I think the turn right under like before that bridge, right? Where like you had to take so much curve, and every turn, like every time that they would take that curve, like the car would bounce. I'll probably just like change that curve to be a little softer because everybody had to take it. It was just the fastest way through the track. So but it like bouncing, it's like super unstable. Also, a lot of the cars were sliding around. So I don't know if that's gonna be a problem for next time they do it.
Yep, because
But
of the way the surface of Florida streets are made.
yeah. So
Yeah, I don't think they thought that through. Uh,
I thought they changed some of the
like,
asphalt. Like
like
I
I
think
feel
I think
like
it was
you feel.
specialized.
I feel like nowadays it's like, oh, we want a Formula One track in whatever city in the world.
Mhm.
It's like, well, there's like an empty parking spot over there, parking lot. Let's put it there. And they never think about like, yeah, but what is the ground? Like when you put that cement, what is that cement composed of,
Mhm.
Because if it's not made for like a Formula One car,
Mhm.
like it's not gonna work out. And I think that's kind of the issue in Miami. Like the track is great to drive under the racing line, but if you
But
go
yeah.
out of the racing line, it's like, hold on for dear God.
Yeah. Yeah, drivers complain about that, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they could probably try and fix it. They could probably try to change the asphalt. I don't know,
Yeah,
consistency,
I
but
think the one thing I would change from the track is like the DRS on the back straight, like
Mhm.
after that chicane that you just mentioned.
Yeah,
I would add the DRS detection zone, like just give me
a
like
tad
an
bit
extra
before.
10 meters, like an extra something, an extra couple of meters,
Yeah. Mhm.
because it didn't feel like it helped all that much for overtaking.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, I was expecting to see more passes there,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
yeah.
you had a hairpin at the end of that,
Mhm.
which would be good for passing, for overtaking, but not a lot of overtaking occurred there because
Yeah.
the chicane before that just slows down the cars so much and it separates them that like it's not like you can get like a really good exit
Yeah. And
to.
like I like beat it. Yeah.
Yeah, you need like an extra more, like I don't know, 5 meters, 10 meters, something, just an extra DRS. It
Just
never
a little extra.
felt, yeah, just like
Yeah.
something, because like it did feel like a couple of cars could overtake the car in front, but they ran out of road.
Yeah. No, I think so. I think it felt a little short. I assume like there is some calculations that they make for this type of things. But I would agree. Ultimately, I think I would agree.
Okay, all right, we can move on from that and we can go on to the juicy topic. Okay, here is my juicy topic, my complaints, Formula One
All right.
complaints.
Let's hear it.
This is what I wanted to complain about this weekend. There's a couple of things, and it doesn't have to do with Formula One rules or anything like that. There is the one that I do think we should always mention, which is Lance Stroll get a black and white flag for weaving.
Mhm.
They didn't show us the weaving,
Yeah.
but he did get a black and white flag. And I'm like, again, in Australia, he weaved once and he got a 5-second penalty. Then in Imola, Kevin Magnussen weaves once and then he gets a black and white flag. And now Lance Stroll weaves once and then he gets a black and white flag. I'm like, so is it like a 5-second penalty? So should the Australia incident should that have been a black and white flag?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I think yes, it should be. But more than anything, I think the consistency is bad. That is what we're asking for. I think the black and white flag is okay, but then you make it into the issue of like drivers do it once in the race and they
Yeah,
can
now all of the drivers can weave once
right they
and
can
they're okay
equate
with
that
it.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So that's the problem that you run into. I've always been pretty lenient with it. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't do it. I'm most like it should be a black and white flag, but if in reality we want fair racing, I before when in previous years when they weren't weaving. Also, I think. Oh, by the way, I think weaving is actually something that came from the games, because in the games you can do that, and I think when people started doing it online, people like well everybody really, but also you start seeing a lot on like the esports competitions that like they started weaving a lot because it does change the thing. I think more people started doing it in real life, and then to the point where now that it became an issue like very recently. I don't think people weren't weaving like that long ago.
no, actually, it became an issue, and I think it's a Hamilton rule.
Really,
But
I
yeah,
never actually I never seen that before.
back
Like
when
since
Malaysia
prior to
was
these
still in
years.
the no, back when Malaysia, which is a great track,
Hmm.
when it was still in the calendar,
Hmm.
there's a famous clip of Lewis Hamilton just going like for the entire straight, not letting the car behind him pass.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, is that allowed? Like, I guess you can do that, but that was like the young Hamilton, and I'm like, oh, Lewis. And he's
and
just like weaving, and because Malaysia is kind of like Silverstone, it's a track that is so wide, and the cars like can just they have all of
all
this
the room.
track, yeah,
Yeah.
all of the room that like you can go on the inside or on the outside, and then you have like Lewis Hamilton going from one end of the track to the other end, and it's fucking Malaysia, bro. It's like the track is like this big, and then you're like seeing the car going like that. Uh, so I don't know if that was the reason of why they implemented the weaving,
Hmm.
like you can't do that,
No, I didn't
but
know
I'm pretty sure that was taking in like that was a factor.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess just consistency. If it's gonna be a black and white going forward, then we'll keep an eye out on it. Make sure that that's how it is.
Yeah, but that was not the main complaint.
Okay, what's the
That
main
was like
complaint?
one of the things, the main complaint, and this has nothing to do with like Formula One consistencies like as a sport, but this time is on the broadcast.
Hmm.
The broadcast and the TV that we're watching makes it look it looks so fucking bad. Like the whole time I don't care about watching the crowd. I don't have Verstappen and Leclerc fighting for position and then show me a crowd full of Red Bull fans. It's like, what are you
Hmm.
doing? I'm trying to watch a race here. um
Oh, really? I don't think that bugs me. But go
you
on.
didn't
Sorry.
notice? Oh my god, the whole time. Then the other one, which I've always been a heavy critic of, is Crofty,
Hmm.
the main commentator. He always messes up the names of the drivers. You
Oh,
have
he does do that very
you
often.
have Stroll fighting Alonso, and then they are commentating that that's Vettel fighting Alonso, and they're talking about for like an entire lap, saying like, "Oh, there are 6 World Drivers' Championship between
Yeah,
these
because yeah.
two, and they're fighting, and there's years of experience, and like all of this." And I'm like, "Bro, that's Lance Stroll. What the fuck are you talking about, man?"
Yeah.
And Vettel is right behind them fighting Latifi or whatever, and it says the number 5, and then it's like on Lance Stroll now is fighting Latifi, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, yeah, I think that annoys me. I think you have a real pet peeve about that. I think it bugs me, but I'm like, whatever, the guy is old, who cares? But I do get
No,
it.
it's not Martin Brundle. It's David Crofty, the guy that says
I
like,
know,
and it's lights out and
yeah, I
away we
know.
go. That guy.
Yeah, I like Martin Brundle actually, but
I think Martin Brundle's pretty good. I actually like when he does the onboards
mhm,
during
mhm.
qualifying. He
Those are really
describes
good.
the lap so good. It makes me
Yes.
know more about the tracks.
Yeah, I think so too. he just knows the layout and how you're supposed to take every turn. But yeah, Crafty, I think he's got a very iconic voice. I think we've said that before in the show, but and it's like it's really good for like action, like when the action's happening. But yeah, he's always constantly messing up things. He's constantly making. Also, he makes really bad jokes that I'm just like, I wish I hadn't heard that. That's it's either like too British of humor or it's just like not good humor or something. I don't know.
So,
But yeah.
like the complaint I wanted to say, and this is going back to the beginning of the podcast, is that I think a Formula One race can be made really good. A really good Formula One race can be portrayed and made really bad if you have bad TV direction, and I think the Miami Grand Prix kind of suffered that. I think it was a very exciting race. Yeah, we didn't have actually we did have it. Like Leclerc and Verstappen were fighting for so long, and then we run into the same issue. I think in Saudi Arabia this year, that you have Verstappen and Leclerc fighting for position. One gets the overtake, and then we're seeing a replay of it.
Immediately, yes.
Immediately.
I noticed that too.
And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, they are still fighting. They're still like within a second of each other. There's another DRS zone coming up.
Like coming right up, yeah.
It's like, I want to see that. Like, show me the whole way through. I want to see if Leclerc got a better exit than Verstappen. How close is he?
Yeah.
Even if, like, I know that later on, like, nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, Leclerc didn't get him. But I wanted to see how much he didn't get him by,
Yeah.
I'm watching them drive. I'm watching them race the whole time. And you're going into a replay. You're now going into this helicopter shot. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Like, these two guys are within a second of each other. They're gonna be about another DRS zone and another braking spot. And you're putting the crowd, you're putting a helicopter shot of something else. I don't know, man. You're putting a replay. I just want to watch these two guys fight.
I'll say that the crowd shots don't bug me as much, but I think the fact that yes, I felt that too. You're watching the drivers, and then they're like, they just literally went through the main straight. Okay, so there wasn't a pass, and then immediately they play a replay of like what just happened, and I'm like, what? But they're still driving, like they're still racing. And in the case of like Verstappen or somebody making a mistake and somebody overtakes them, then I'm gonna have to be fucking watching that on a replay because you took it off. Like, let it cool down. Like, it'll come down eventually. Like, just let the thing breathe. Let the viewers get attached to the action, and then show the replay.
Yeah,
replays are fun. Replays are great. But
I don't need to see the replay. Like, show me like when, like, this is not like soccer. In soccer, when you score a goal, there's like a 2-minute period where everything resets.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, like you can show all the replays you want, and then in soccer we get all of these amazing replays from every single angle, how beautiful they are, slow motion.
Yeah.
And then in here, like, you get like a one thing, and it feels like they want to do the same thing. It's like, we have to show it, all of the angles, and I'm like, don't. They're still driving.
Yeah, all of the different cameras, all the different. I hate the one that I've always kind of hated the one that's on the wing, on like the wing of the car.
At the very
Like, I don't. It doesn't do anything for me.
And you know which one is the one that they now introduce, the helmet cam? Get rid of that, or like, don't get rid of it, but it's just like you can't see anything. What happened to the original onboard?
Those are cool enough. Yeah,
the onboards are so good, and like, I feel like now they replace them with the helmet cameras, and I'm like, if I knew that you were gonna replace the onboards for helmet cams, I would have never asked for helmet cams.
I mean,
just give me the onboards.
They still have the onboards, and I'm cool with those. Yeah, I don't like. I mean, the ones here is like, it puts you in like the driver's seat. I kind of like them. They shouldn't show it too often because it's like super shaky. Whatever. The one that I hate is the one that like they show, and it's like it literally just shows the back of the car. and like
Oh,
in the
just
middle,
the rear wing.
yeah, just the rear wheel and the rear tires. And I'm like, why the fuck am I looking at that? Like, I don't like. To me, it never matters that like I see a car coming from behind and like passing to the side. Like it doesn't. I don't feel the action doing that, right? You feel it if you're like on the driver's seat and then you see like what like the other car like approximating.
Yeah,
But
it's not like an IndyCar. You have like the whole 360 cam. So when you're
mm,
being overtaken, the cam like
it
rotates
starts
to the car.
turning.
Yeah. And I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, yeah, we don't have that in Formula One.
Mhm.
So don't show me the one from behind because, yeah, it makes sense. Like, oh, you got really close and then it passes and I'm still watching the rear view. Like, there's no more cars in here. Like,
Right, exactly.
what am I looking at?
And sometimes
But
they even show incidents from the back and like where like they crash in the front, and I'm just like, why are you showing me the goddamn rear back? Like what do you think you're achieving by doing this?
or you have a car and they got hit from the back and then you don't show me the rear. Like you show me the car driving on the front and then getting hit. And
Yes,
I'm like, what? Show me the fucking rear.
that's what you, because you want to see those cars getting fucked up good. And like they don't show that. I like what then what's the point? What's the point? Why I don't need to see the back tires? Like there's nothing important happening there. So yeah, I mean I understand the complaint though. I feel like I got annoyed this weekend that like I was trying to watch the top two drivers world championship going on, and then they started playing like replays while the drivers are still like lapping within a second. Just fucking let it breathe. Like everybody wants to see the replay, they'll show the replay. Nobody wants to see the replay in the middle of the action. Like
Yep. Because
why?
then if the action happens, then I'm gonna have to watch the action on a replay after I already know the outcome.
Exactly.
The reason it's exciting is because you don't know what's gonna happen.
It's life. It's like anything could happen. Somebody could touch the wall. Somebody could like spin out. They could touch each other. And, like it's like it's a bunch of things that could happen.
They could touch each other.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think that's is any more complaints? I think that was a juicy complaint.
No, yeah, that's the like just get it together. I think the Miami Grand Prix was actually a really good race.
I
And
think
it
it's
had a lot
really
of action. It's just the broadcast, they just
uh,
fucked up. And I'm like, the action, like I feel like the amount of action that it had was good. But if it would have been done proper, like it would have been like much better. You would have been more hyped for longer. But the whole time
I
where I'm being hyped, my hype is being killed by a fucking replay.
I think
And I'm like,
so. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I didn't think that the race was as exciting as I think you did. I feel like it was exciting after like 40 laps, and then after the Lando crashed, then it became a race. But before that, I just
yes,
I don't
okay,
know.
yeah,
It was kind of a snoozer before that.
yeah.
I'm happy that the incident happened. I was like I was praying for it because I was like this is the chance to like show Americans what this great sport is all about. You just need one safety car, just one. And then it happened. I was like, yes, it gets exciting. It gets to be an actual race where like everybody's on their feet and seeing like what's gonna happen. Those are the good races, and I think that
Yeah,
Americans need
and
to
I
see
think
that.
that's what Americans like too.
Yes,
Like Americans are like, oh, they fucking crush, and then
yes.
they like the drama and the commotion. If it would have been just
Oh,
like a snooze fest
oh,
the
I almost
whole way
forgot.
through.
But you know what the craziest part at the end was? The fucking interviewer, dude. Well, what's up with that
Oh
guy?
yes, yes.
That was so strange.
they
That man. I think that man was on drugs, cause like it didn't make any sense. He like shook Verstappen's hand and like wouldn't let it go, and like he was asking all these questions
he was
slowly.
he so just to give you some context, the guy is a boxer.
Okay.
Uh and
Okay.
so I mean, nothing against box. Obviously, you have to be really talented to be able to win boxing matches in the United States, you know.
Yeah.
But it was so awkward. It's like you're getting a guy that it is so out of touch with the sport.
Yes.
So like Carlos Sainz comes in the interview, and the guy is like, "Carlos Sainz, you're in the podium here in Miami, baby."
You're a
He's
champ,
like,
baby.
"You're a champ, baby. How is the car? How is the chassis? How is the tires? Go." And then I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
that like I was like,
So
what is
so
going on?
Carlos Sainz is like with his fucking hair, like what? Oh yeah, yeah, he's trying to be as nice. Then he goes away, and then Charles Leclerc is like Charlie Leclerc. He
Charles
gave it Chuck
Leclerc,
Leclerc. Yeah, he's like Charles
Leclerc.
Chuck Leclerc, something like that.
Yes.
And then he's like, you're in the podium in Miami, baby. How is the car? How is the chassis? How is the tires? And I'm like,
it was
what is going on?
He was like, it was the best. I was laughing pretty hard at that, like uncontrollably.
And then Verstappen comes in, and then he shakes Verstappen. Said, "Oh, also he's like this close to the
he's
drivers.
Like super close to them,
super in their personal space." And then he grabs Verstappen's hand. He's like, "You're the champ, baby, and when you're the champ, every day feels like Christmas." And I'm like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, which is it's so crazy because the day before they actually had Danica Patrick, and I was like, oh,
Danica Patrick is a good one, yeah.
Yeah, and like she like did a really good interview. Like she asked like really interesting questions, and like it was very clear. She's American, so I guess for my ears, like it was like really sportsy questions, and I was like, I was ready to like see Danica again, but then they put this dude like out of nowhere. Like who's this dude? I've never fucking heard of this guy. I'm an American, like what's going on? So yeah, I don't know. It was cringy, but it was like hilarious at the same time. And then well, there was the police, like
that was so cringe. It was so American, and I'm like, can we just keep it Formula One,
Yeah.
Let people from the United States know what Formula One is all about before you start like culturally appropriating
or like imposing the culture. I don't know. But it wasn't even necessary because then you see like Leclerc and Sainz are already just like sitting there like for like a few minutes. So it's like, why couldn't Verstappen just take that same path? He really just finished the interview with Sainz, with them. So like, I don't know, it didn't make any sense. It was just show offy and really strange.
I hate it when Formula One does that. The other instance, just to talk about like briefly, is I think last year when Verstappen won Monaco, and they brought in Serena Williams, and then like in the middle of the interview, Max Verstappen is having the interview, and then they bring Serena Williams, and they start interviewing Serena Williams.
Oh yeah, that was weird. That was weird.
And then Verstappen is just standing there like, and I'm like, bro, this guy, probably one of the greatest drivers in Formula One that will ever exist, just won Monaco, the most iconic event in Formula One, and you're interviewing the tennis player. What is going on?
It was I remember that. It was pretty weird. She just like I don't know. She was like just answering questions, but like
I think she was also trying to be polite. Like, it wasn't her fault, and I think she was trying to hand it off to Verstappen, but the fucking interviewer is just still like Serena, and I'm like, this is not about any of these celebrities, bro. Like, we have the drivers here. I came into and I tuned in for Formula One,
Yeah, and it's nothing against Serena. I mean, like, she's a pro for sport, but it's like, I mean, it could be anybody else. It could be Tom Brady, and it's like, I mean, cool to see Tom Brady there, but like, why would Tom Brady be in a Formula One event after somebody wins? It's like, I don't know. It's like you don't see people like after like Brady wins like a game, like in that all of a sudden comes a Formula One driver and they ask like the Formula One driver what they thought about the football game. It's I don't know, just very strange, very odd. Sometimes these things happen.
Just keep it Formula One,
Yes.
Okay, so now we're back in the Formula One World Drivers Championship.
Formula One.
Yeah. One wonders, should one only win a Formula One championship one year? And if so, would have won it? Year one? So let me look up here Formula One standings, I guess, for
sure. I mean, I could do it either way. I could go by teams even. I'll tell you, Max. Okay, so to keep it succinct, Verstappen 5 out of 5.
I mean, yeah, Verstappen.
Well,
I
actually, we can give him a
Verstappen
four and a.
is so good. Actually, have you seen our standings for our current Formula One World Drivers Championship?
No.
No. Next time you should see it. It's pretty. It actually makes a lot of sense, because like the reason we're doing it is because we want to see who deserves to win the World Drivers Championship, even if they were in a worse performing car. Who's the driver that is consistently just driving the best of their abilities? So we're ranking them, whether they finish the race or not, or whether they are in a crappier car or not. It's like, how good are they compared to the other drivers? How consistent can they be?
Yeah.
And Verstappen, holy shit, like he's finished out of the fucking 6 races this year. It hasn't been 6 races so far.
5, I think.
5.
Yeah,
Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Australia, Imola, and Miami. Did I miss one? I think that's been it. I think it's 5.
Yeah, I thought it was 5. Because last week I think we said 4.
Yeah, the dude has won 3 of them.
Yeah, I think every race that he has finished,
every race he's finished this year, he's won it.
Yeah.
But obviously the ones that he didn't finish, he wasn't gonna win him, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, at least one of them he wasn't.
Bahrain, he wasn't going to, and Australia, I don't think he was going to either.
Yeah, I mean, they did get close, but yeah, you're right. He was losing territory. I don't think he had it. So yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, 5 out of 5, he killed it again. I mean, the only thing is that he did make a mistake on qualifying, but he totally came back in the race. I could give him a 4.5 for that, but I think.
No, I think he deserves the 5.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know if there's anybody that drove better than him this weekend either.
Yeah. For Perez, I'm gonna give Perez a 3.5. 3.5. I think he could have well, for one, he didn't out-qualify his teammate, even though Verstappen made a mistake. Then he couldn't make the pass on Sainz. And I think just overall his pace was a little bit slower than the Ferraris even, which you don't want. So I think I'm gonna give him a 3.5. I mean, he finished in the position that he's supposed to finish, but
what about Leclerc?
Okay, Leclerc, probably a 4.5. I think he did as good as he needed to do this weekend. He got pole position, and he just wasn't in the fastest car. I think with a little bit more of the Sainz support that we were talking about earlier, I think it could have happened. But as it stood, from lap 1, it was Verstappen chasing him down, with barely no support. No, actually no support from Sainz. So yeah, I think 4.5, because he did have a pretty good race for what he could have done.
What about Sainz?
He finished the race, which is progress, and he finished ahead of Perez. I'm gonna give him a 4. I'm gonna give him a 4 because he got a podium. He did a good qualifying. At points, it seemed like he could have been faster than Leclerc as well.
You're in the podium, baby.
Yeah.
George Russell and Hamilton. So Russell first, I guess.
Russell, I'm gonna give I don't know, like a 4. I mean, he started 11 and then came like 5th. He got favored by the safety car, but he ended up there. I'm also gonna give Hamilton a 4. I think he was driving faster than Russell. He just got unlucky. But at the end of the day, he ended up 6th, which is where the Mercedes seem to belong at the moment. So
yeah, Bottas,
who ended up 7th, right?
Yes, right behind Hamilton.
Yeah, Bottas was having a great weekend. I'm gonna give him a 4.5.
Really? Even though he made that mistake and led both Mercedes through.
Yeah. I mean, he was gonna hold them for like maybe 2 laps at most, and they were like enough laps that he was never gonna hold.
4.5. You think Bottas 4.5?
Yes, I think at the moment he is the best of the rest consistently.
I can see that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Zhou.
What
He had to retire.
he had to retire, right? Like very early on. I'm gonna give him a 2.5. Solid. I mean, he didn't out qualify Bottas by any means of the imagination. So yeah.
Okay. Ocon.
Ocon did pretty good. I mean, came back from a pretty bad, what looked like a scary crash, little practice, no qualifying, and was able to end up eighth. And I think it was a lot of effort, but I think he made it work. So somewhere between 4 and 4.5, maybe 4. I'll just give him a 4.
For the same as Russell and the same as Hamilton.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, you could make an argument that it could be higher, but I think 4. He's not like he scored the most points or anything like that. He just kind of outdrove the car.
Alonso.
Alonso, he ended up, let me see, with no points, right?
Yeah, he ended up 11. I mean, he was in the points, but he had a 5-second penalty. Like he was ahead of, he was 9th
But
behind Ocon.
wasn't he like crashing into people the entire weekend?
Yeah, that's why he got a 5-second penalty.
Yeah.
You could also say that like he was crashing because like the track surface was shitty.
Yeah,
you could be like, you never see Alonso do that. So the track,
I'm gonna give him a 2.5 or a 3, but I think a 2.5.
How much?
2.5, yeah, because he finished behind his teammate. He crashed into people. He he didn't have like a crazy qualifying or anything. So
Albon
is I'm gonna give him a 4. There's good arguments to give him a 4.5 as well.
Yeah, I just wish they would have shown more of his race. Like it's kind of hard to see.
It just seemed like he got pretty lucky from the safety car. Like that I think where he sort of won the race or like ended up in 10th. But at the end of the day, you still have to keep up the pace. You still have to keep the position. There were a lot of opportunities for people passing you, and he held the spot. So really good racing. Again, I feel like had he gotten higher, if I saw him passing more people and like making actually like moves and stuff, like you start being like, okay, like this is really good. But it seems like he's just getting kind of lucky and he's just driving at a good pace. So I'm gonna give him a 4. A very good result though.
Latifi.
I don't know. A 2.5 or a 2. It doesn't. I don't know if it matters, but he was not in contention for nothing the entire weekend.
Just I don't know what he's racing for. Just to say he's a Formula One driver.
I think but as long as he's enjoying it and having a good time, I think that's fine. I feel like he's in his last leg. As long as he's enjoying it, I don't know if he is, but I hope he is. Enjoy your last races. That sounds so assholish, but I really don't think that like he has it anymore. Or I mean, he had a little bit at the beginning, but not anymore. Like he literally is the slowest guy in the grill.
Every race, just without fail. Yuki.
Didn't he finish? No, he didn't. He couldn't make the moves, and I didn't really see him the entire weekend. I'm gonna give him a 3. I mean, he didn't do bad, and like for an AlphaTauri, I guess it's just an average performance.
And Gasly.
Gasly, I think he was doing well. He was kind of he qualified well, I believe. I'm gonna give him a 3.5. I don't think he's well, but then he crashed.
Yeah.
He did crash, yeah. I'm gonna lower him to a 3. I mean, he did outperform his teammate, and I think the incident was not his fault. It was not the Norris incident, the one where he got hit by Alonso.
Yeah.
I don't think that was his fault, and I think that kind of did ruin his race. But before that, he was having an okay weekend. Then he had to retire.
Okay, now we're going with Norris.
Norris was having a good weekend, but not like an incredible weekend. And if anything, they were gonna be able to salvage some points.
Maybe.
Maybe, yes. It's unclear. I'm gonna give him a 3 or 3.5, maybe 3.5. I think he actually was on the way to getting points.
Really? I
Yeah.
highly doubt. I think it's a 3, but
All right. I consider it later for the top 10.
Ricardo.
Ricardo, I don't know, a 2.5. He was just didn't impress at all, and I think he was actually getting passed a couple of times on the weekend.
Poor Danny Rick.
Yeah.
What did you say to the given?
A 3.
3.
3 or 2.5? I forgot.
2.5 it is.
I think 2.5.
Schumacher.
Schumacher was doing good, and then he crashed, and the crash was his fault. But I'm gonna give him a 2.5. I know it may seem a little harsh, but it was his fault, and if you're ever gonna drive for a faster team, and you're driving for points or something, you can't. Like something like that is gonna cost you a whole lot of points. So it is your fault, and no matter how fast you were driving before that. So
right. And Kevin Magnussen.
K-Mag also had an incident. I didn't think they showed it, but he did have an incident, and he lost a lot of pace. So it wasn't necessarily his fault, but I'm gonna give him a 2.5. He didn't impress either. I think he got out qualified by
what?
What?
What's the score?
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah, he got out qualified by Mig as well. So yeah, no. Unfortunately, working for K-Mag, but I think I don't know. I think it just happens. I feel like he's still a very good driver, very solid.
Okay, Lance Stroll.
Stroll actually had a fun weekend, I thought, except for the fact that he didn't get points.
He got 1 point.
He did. He ended up getting a point
After Alonso got the 5-second penalty.
That's right. Yeah. No, good. I'll give him I don't know, 3 point. Well, he was behind Vettel, and he got lucky with that. I'm still gonna give him a 3.5.
In Vettel?
Probably. Well, I don't know. It's like I think 3.5 as well. I think they were both doing fine. They were both doing normal, and then Vettel just happened to get into an incident. But 3.5 for both, I think.
Okay, so we have the winner of the weekend, Verstappen.
Yep.
Because the guy is just so fucking good. That's not to say that we don't like Verstappen. We admire how good he is. Just
I don't like Verstappen.
But we'd like how good he is.
But I do recognize that he's a very good driver. Like he is the best driver at the moment. Yeah.
So you said it. Formula Juan, the Juan.
Yeah,
says that Verstappen is the best driver at the moment in
Formula. I do think so. Yeah.
Even though he doesn't like Max Verstappen.
No, and I'm not really a Lewis Hamilton fan, contrary to popular belief. I'm more of a Charles Leclerc fan. Like I've always been more of a Charles Leclerc fan. But yeah, no. I can put my ego aside and say that Verstappen is the current fastest driver. I can also put my ego aside and say that Hamilton is the best driver of all time. So anybody that wants to make concessions, has to admit that as well.
Yeah. So because we've been getting some comments.
Yes, but anyways.
Verstappen wins it. Then for 4.5, you have two people being tied, which is Leclerc and Bottas.
I think I'm gonna give it to Leclerc and then Bottas. Just because I think Leclerc did everything that he could have, and he almost got Verstappen. He was missing a little bit of power, and then Bottas just did great also. So good podium there.
Okay, so now you have 5 people for the next spots. You have Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Hamilton, Ocon, and Albon.
Okay. So you said Sainz, Ocon.
So Sainz, the 2 Mercedes,
Ocon and
Albon. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna give it to Sainz first, Then Albon. Then I'm gonna give it to I'm just gonna go with track position between Russell and Hamilton. So Russell, then Hamilton, and then Ocon.
Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the last two spots, it is a 4-way tie that you have to decide. There's
Nice.
4 who gets.
That's rare. We usually have exactly 10.
Yeah. So we have Perez, Norris,
Okay.
and both Aston Martins.
Well, I think Perez for sure the next. The question is between, I guess, a Stroll and Norris. But since I can't confirm that Norris was gonna get points and he did DNF, I'm gonna give it to Strollini.
Over Vettel?
Yes. Because I mean Vettel, well, incident.
There you go. We have it. That is the top 10. You can see it in the description down below.
The standings.
If anybody does. If anybody
Maybe we'll come up with our own point system that is like just fair, like 20 points, first to 20, second 19, third 18, and so on and so forth. The fairest way to do it.
I do think that it should be the first, like you said, the first guy should get 22. The reason is because even if the other person gets like fastest lap or pole position, it's still not better than winning the race.
Yes, exactly.
So it should be 22 and then the rest 19, 18, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, or something like that. I have been thinking about how I would do my system.
It sounds, the thing is that obviously when you say like 22 points, that sounds so weird.
Yeah, exactly.
But
if there's a logic behind it, although I think, again, I've been thinking about like a model that I can sort of do about these points, and like thinking of how you would allocate them. I don't know. You can make the numbers nice and even, just depending on the number of drivers that you want to include in your
points. Right now it works fine. Like if you want to say 20, 19, 18, all the way to 1, but that's because we have exactly 20 cars. But what happens when we have 22 or 24 cars?
Yeah,
do at the point get 22 points or 24 points? Like,
I just think there should be more cars that get points. Like I think maybe like at least 12, but as much as 15 or even all 20. I think having just 15 and like 5 cars not getting, I think that's fine. I think that still gives you some room for DNFs, for people to also like want to race for, some people don't get points, but like it's only like 2 or 3 cars every weekend, not that many.
Yeah.
So but anyways, yeah, that's neither here nor there.
That's it. We did it. We have a 2-week break, or this 1 week break.
Yes, and then we'll come back for Spain, which
not so exciting, but maybe the new cars help out.
I am notoriously not a big fan of Spain. I don't like the track. But
now they changed it.
And they changed it again.
Worse and made it worse.
Oh God.
So Spain has 2 overtaking spots.
Yeah.
Right. The main straight.
And the second one where it's like comes from a fast right turn.
And it goes really fast, and then it goes into a hairpin.
Yeah.
They changed the hairpin.
Didn't they change it like last year?
Yeah, but we didn't race on it last year. And they made it this like long.
It is the longer thing, and then it comes back around.
You don't have a hard braking zone to try to outbrake your opponent.
Yeah, I don't really understand that. I'm not really.
So the reason they did it supposedly is for safety for MotoGP. Because like a hairpin, and you have a lot of bikes driving through that is very dangerous. So if you have like a sweeping,
But they always had that. Like that is just two different parts of the track.
yeah, no, now they made that the other one, the official one.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, that
Unfortunate.
sucks. Well, I don't know. If I'm gonna be realistic, there was always only just one passing opportunity. That was never really a reliable passing opportunity. And every lap is like you have to try to do it on the main straight, and it's very difficult to pass there as is. And it's also just a very awkward sort of turns that come right after that. I don't know. I don't like that track. Also one of the things that I hate the most is that like there's no clear braking zones. Like I don't know how drivers.
Even on turn one is like not a hard braking zone. It's still, you have to carry a lot of speed into it still.
Yes, and then you a lot of times you have to sort of go over the track limits to make sure to make the track work. And then there's like that final chicane, which I think everybody universally hates, as opposed to what was there before. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I think it's a balance, like it's probably one of the most balanced tracks, but I don't like it. I don't enjoy driving it. I don't enjoy seeing it. There's very little action. It's only one passing opportunity, so we'll see. But then Monaco's after that, so there's
also not many very overtaking spots.
It's an event. It's an event.
But I enjoy it. It is an event. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. That's it. We did it.
Yeah. We can call it peace.
Peace.